So today we are going to talk about tsunami. Tsunami now is a word which is used and which is basically a Japanese word which is used to describe the disturbances of the sea, the disturbances of the oceans, which are caused by many things, particularly by earthquakes on the surface of the ocean. By surface I mean the floor of the ocean, okay, the floor of the ocean. These disturbances can be caused by, as I said, by earthquakes, by volcanoes and other disruptions. Basically, we know the tsunamis by the destruction that they cause on the sea and on the land. Tsunamis are water waves. Waves are normally of two kinds: matter waves and non-matter waves, like the light, etc. They are also waves. Waves which are, the key word is a disturbance. And in waves, the disturbance travels from one place to another place, which we can say that the disturbance propagates. Now this disturbance is water based, so it is a fluid disturbance. This is caused by the disturbances on the bed of the ocean. Okay, so what happens? If the bed of the ocean goes like this, because of any factors, particularly in the case of tectonic plates, during the course of earthquake of high intensity, then what happens is that the surface of the bottom of the ocean, that goes tipsy-turvy. So what happens? That the entire column of water, which is often 4 kilometers to many more kilometers, and as we near the shores, then this depth keeps on decreasing. So what happens is that a kind of a gravitational, because of the gravitational attractions and the gravitational forces, although the gravitational force in nature is one of the weakest forces, okay, still, because there is a large column of water, then these waves, they are generated and then they propagate. According to what is happening there, earthquakes we don't understand much, but the tsunamis can be understood in terms of fluid mechanics. With the help of the Newtonian mechanics, the conservation rules, and then optics, the principle of optics, that is reflection, refraction and diffraction, etc., which happen when the waves propagate. There is a horizontal flow of energy, because in waves there is a packet of energy which travels from one place to another place, from one point to another point, whatever, and therefore what happens is that over the surface of the sea, these waves, they propagate. These packets of energy, they propagate. And that does not depend upon the depth of the sea. Normally, if at all, then that wave velocity and the wave amplitude, they have certain kind of relationship which will appear on the side. But they travel long distances, and so much so that if a disturbance is caused in the middle of the ocean, then it might travel as much as 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 kilometers away with its energy intact. So that means with its entire energy it approaches the, and what exactly happens is that a lens formation is there, and when there is a lens formation, then there is refraction, and there is also partial reflection or even complete reflection, so that they propagate in different directions. As the waves approach the shores or the islands, then what happens is that there is a diffraction, and even in diffraction they go round the corners, okay, they bend round the corners, and the effect can travel several thousand kilometers, or at least as they approach the shallow portions, the depth is shallow, so the wave amplitude becomes large. It can become large if there is a crest or if there is a trough. Both travel just like that with their wavelength. So what happens is that the shores, there is a big column of water which devastates the coastal areas, and slowly and gradually that energy is dissipated, and it happens that there is a big loss often, and it has happened. So I am not going into the details of the physics behind it, but the physics is, as I told you, it is based on the conservation laws of Newtonian mechanics. It is based on optics, that is reflection, refraction, diffraction, etc. It is also based on the principles of quantum mechanics. Okay, so all these things combined together, we can solve them in simple terms or with the help of differential equations and algebraic equations. And I am telling you that it is easy to explain and understand tsunamis, where we have a lot of information. Even we can model the tsunamis, we have modeled the tsunamis, but the causes, basically the earthquakes, there we are not well versed as to how these earthquakes are formed and what kind of equations are going to define these earthquakes. So this is a very simple explanation that I have given to you for the tsunamis, and we will discuss more similar things in future. Thank you very much.
Oh, look at it, look at it. Yusuf, come see.